All right, I've done like zero preparation for this. This tweet was made well over a month ago. This isn't exactly relevant to the current news cycle, but this tweet prompted some thoughts that I wanted to articulate about this topic. So, for those of you who are just listening to the video, not watching it, this is a tweet by Cenk Uygur. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I've been watching. I've watched this guy for years. I know exactly who he is. He runs a media outlet called the Young Turks, along with a woman called Anna Kasparian. And yeah, I'm more than familiar with Cenk Uygur, although I haven't watched his content in a long time, and I'm not exactly familiar with what his rhetoric is looking like on a day-to-day basis at this current moment. But this sort of this sort of tweet is something I find very interesting. So Jenk says, "I know this is not easy to pull off, but it would be amazing if people chanted free, free Palestine wherever people gathered, especially sporting events like the World Cup. It would send such a powerful message to our governments that the people of the world support freedom." Now, I have no inherent problem with this messaging. I think we should advocate for what we feel is the truth about the plight of the Palestinian people. It's no secret, at least amongst people who know me, that I'm not exactly a fan of the Israeli government, at least the current Israeli government and their actions as of late. And I think the plight of the Palestinian people is very legitimate, but I also want to point out, and again, I'm not even speaking directly about Cenk Uygur here because I'm not familiar with his current content, his current rhetoric. But there seems to be a certain variety of American or Westerner who makes, whether it's the plight of the Palestinian people or any other cause in any other foreign country, usually a third world country, and the struggles that these people are facing. There's a certain variety of people, of Americans and Westerners who seem to make this their primary concern, their primary focus in their rhetoric and the things that they speak about and advocate for. And frankly, I think it's ass backwards. And I do not respect it. And the reason that is because we are in a country that, although is very well off, we are very clearly in a state of decline. And if you are using your platform and all of your energy to solely to advocate for foreigners and their needs, while you ignore the needs and the plight and the advocation that your people need, I think that is irresponsible. That is a dereliction of duty, and that is the opposite of morality. That is the opposite way of what proper charity should look like. You have, in a moral sense, consecutive circles of responsibility. You have a responsibility to your family, a responsibility to your community, and then a responsibility to your nation, and then a responsibility to the world. In that order, always. When you begin to switch around this order, it immediately becomes immoral. If you cannot afford, or if you can just barely afford to feed your own children, but instead you give your last $20 to a homeless person who cannot eat, that is immoral. You have done a great wrong in neglecting your own people in favor of strangers. And this is a beautiful example of suicidal empathy, in my view.